Hi, and welcome to Success Stories. We are your hosts, Kristina Gent.
And Eric Ozarowski.
And this is where we share real conversations with our members from the 6 Degrees community, all about life, leadership, and the power of meaningful connection. This is part 2 with Rudy Miick, who is a world-renowned facilitator and business coach focused on leadership development, sales building, and profitability.
Yeah, we're so lucky to get to work with Rudy. He's one of our partners at 6 Degrees, and we bring in a tool set that he created called conscious communication. And the main reason for us working with him and utilizing that tool set within our community is we're all about relationships and helping our members develop and build relationships. And one of the most important pieces of building relationships is communication. So conscious communication helps us, the two of us and our members, be more aware, more awake, and be able to connect in a better, stronger, more effective way in professional relationships and in life. In this episode with Rudy, part 2, so I find my footing, and it kind of ties into one of the main themes that shows up around safety and the importance of feeling safe and getting to a safe place and feeling like I can be vulnerable and that we can be vulnerable. And we talk about how that relates to brand and building trust within a brand. And then finally, we talk about values and how our values get reinforced within our community, within our company. All of that gets discussed in this episode in detail. And there's some wine that may or may not sound, you may or not be able to hear.
May or may not come
some
through.
Drinking.
Yeah, we talked to Rudy for 3 hours. That's how long we were recording. And so for us, there were too many gold nuggets to share to not have a part 2. So this is a little different from our norm, and I think it was really important to have all of this to be shared. So please enjoy Success Stories.
You're doing better with your discomfort.
No, I'm good. I'm good now.
Opening.
So I'm good now. It shifted for me. I don't know what exactly shifted, and it wasn't. This is the only experience of me on a podcast. It's happened one other time, and it was the exact same thing. I don't know precisely what the trigger is or was. Yeah. I'm better now. So thank you both for.
You're such a rock star.
Letting me just work through it.
You have such a big heart and you're so smart, and you're in such a big heart and such an endearing character, and there's so much authenticity in you, not only as a human being but as a partner, and as a leader and as an owner, right? At least this is what I see in you. And at the same time, man, you are a screaming introvert at times, and will just shut down, and we lose you when you do that, right?
That's interesting, because I would self-describe myself as an extrovert.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And from your experience, Kristina, I've dealt with some depression stuff, and it turns into screaming introvert is a...
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. Well, so the real definition of introvert extrovert, right, is how do I replenish myself? Do I replenish myself? I can be fried. Rudy Miick can be fried. What I need is people around me, and I will revitalize.
Right. So for me, that's why I identify as an extrovert. I would share that definition. Okay. I need it. So part of the screaming introvert is I'm not around people. It actually goes to a deeper, darker.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
when I'm not,
it's just the three of us.
It's an isolation thing. So.
Oh, that's so interesting, actually, because where I started this conversation of, there's no noise around me, so I can be super present. This environment seems to also, at times, trigger that in you, that it's too isolating. Like, it's almost as if we were recording this same exact podcast in a more public place, or there's things happening around, maybe there's more comfortability there.
Yeah, maybe it feels like it's in a vacuum, and I know we're not in a vacuum, so I don't know.
So touche. So guess what? There is a fourth wall to your language, a theater phrase.
Yeah.
Right? There is a fourth wall, and there could be, 350 million people out there listening to this.
Yeah, which doesn't bother me. That part doesn't bother me.
Well, and so let's acknowledge every one of you out there in the audience in San Diego listening to this, and the members of 6 Degrees, and the people that are looking for some place to not network, but to actually connect. This is the real deal.
Yeah.
Right? And so we're not breaking out the wall. To me, we're acknowledging what is. And so I wonder in the moment,
Yeah.
what does it feel like to play on a world stage? And how do we include, do we have the guts to be intimate, sharing our truths, naming our moves, speaking the unspoken, and doing that with, I don't know, 6 million people, 400,000 people, 350 million people, whatever the population is, right?
Depending how we edit this.
Yeah.
I think I just did.
and or to the editor, we're speaking to the three of us, so enough. Right?
Kristina,
these are all outtakes.
I'm
maybe.
That's the thing is that I don't really. What I love is to not have so many outtakes, because so much of what we've already done in the time that we've spent on mics has been working through it in real time, and that's exactly what I want this to be.
So
thank
you for,
dude. Love you.
I love you.
Right?
Yeah.
I was really ready for you today to just hammer me, man. I was totally in my own space of, oh my God, I have totally offended and blown out these guys that trust me, and it cracks me up. And ready to take the feedback.
Yeah,
that's actually so interesting,
each of us have our own shit.
Yes.
You know? Well, you guys have your brand to stake, right?
Sure. Yeah.
The brand is, are people in this lab getting what they want and need and signed up for, right? It's a big deal.
It comes from feedback from previous times that we've had the event, and us wanting to be better each time and give the 6 Degrees brand experience to our members and the people who attend this leadership lab. So I welcome feedback, and I want all the feedback. And does that create a fear for the next one of, can we go there? Can we push? Can we make people uncomfortable? Will they be upset? Will they come back? Will they change their opinion of Eric and I? Will they hate 6 Degrees? Right? There's the fear that bubbles up, and all we can really do is continue to use the tools in that time and be real.
Yeah. Well, so what is your value around communication?
We communicate with candor and kindness.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Eric.
What is the value around accountability?
We challenge each other with love and respect.
Okay. So one of my, again, to the audience, listen to how quickly you two know, you're not looking at anything. You know the values of the company, right? Mm-hmm. You can define them specifically. Mm-hmm. And to me, one of the commitments I've made to you as a facilitator and one of the regular speakers that you bring to the leadership labs is this aspect of, were we successful, and how do we take the next lab to the next level, right? So what does success look like and feel like? And as I'm listening to both of you, especially with the values in mind that you just named, what I thought we did, you did, I did, so we, but also the greater we at the group level, what do we want and need? And oh, by the way, part of housekeeping is get ready to be challenged. And if we ramp this challenge too much, say it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
As a wrestler, tap out. Right? Go, whoa, tap out.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's like, this is too much. I need a break. Or, whoa, you just crossed an edge. And so, to me, we did that. We as faculty, I as a speaker, presenter, facilitator, I think did define those boundaries a little bit better than we have previously, thanks to the feedback, Kristina, that you named, of, hey, I feel a little frightened. I feel like we pushed too hard. Okay, great. So let's acknowledge that. The experience of too much. So if this is too much, or if you're ready to ramp up, back to the Gestalt piece about, think of a ratchet wrench, and we're going to experiment. Can we experiment ratcheting up, tightening? Oh, that was maybe a little much. Let's ratchet back, so that we're meeting the group where they are, the participants.
Well, it showed up, right? We talked about this on the ride over here around multiple people expressed, I felt so safe, without any prompting or without framing a question in a certain way to initiate that frame or that lens, right? And I think that speaks to the work. I mean, the tool set of safe space, that, name of safe space is the intention. That's the intention of what we're trying to put into the room.
I mean, so because we've gone through, so there's been multiple times that we've gotten feedback around feeling safe or safe space being in play during the actual event. So there was someone in a previous event that said, oh, I didn't realize that safe space was what we were actually doing right now in this moment. Oh, okay, wow, because that's certainly the goal of that's what we're practicing. And so there was that feedback, and then there was feedback of not feeling safe, right? So so there's been multiple times that we've gotten that feedback. So yes, to what you just said, Rudy, of I think we did a good job this time around during housekeeping, and thanks to you, Rudy, for setting that up to, I think, welcome people to say, oh, if I do feel uncomfortable, like I am allowed to say something. And I think even just the allowance to say something or feel like I can say something is what makes me feel safe. To my experience of the event, it didn't seem like someone felt pushed to that level of saying or getting to the point where they needed to say, I'm unsafe right now. And I think we set it up so that people felt that they could.
Well, and what I love with what both of you have said is, and it's helping me as I'm listening reflect, oh my God, we're using safe space elements in real time. For instance, as a facilitator, okay, if the goal is ratchet up to the edge or ratchet back milliseconds, right? Just literally second by second, minute by minute, certainly hour by hour. And then, well, how do we do that? Well, I'm tracking from my truth and my experience the participants' body language, their tone of voice, their word choice, what's changing, what's consistent, their willingness to bring their inside voice out or their silence for how long. Right. The potential of different truths than my truth, right, which we acknowledged today. We were talking about gender difference and, easy for me to say, speak up as a 6'1" white guy, right, with education and money, some money. And somebody else that is not male, not white, not tall, not maybe educated, but not certainly with a 20-year track record or whatever, right? So somehow different, acknowledge that different truth in real time, and then make, based on all those data points, tracking the data, making a story to say it's safe to keep going. It's safe to ratchet up. Oh my God, maybe it's a smarter story based on the data I'm tracking to ratchet down, right? So in real time, literally second by second, minute by minute, that's how attentive a great facilitator is, right? And why at the end of the day, if one is really good, really skilled, it doesn't look like they worked very hard, doesn't feel like they worked very hard, and we're fried. At the end of the day, we're fried, right?
Completely fried.
After 2 days, I'll go home and take 2 days to just rest.
Yeah.
You'll do that?
Yeah.
That's you personally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a personal level, that would be me.
Yeah.
If I'm leading a 3-day retreat, we're going to probably take a day and a half off. If I'm going to be physical, I'm going to go sailing, or I'm going to go surfing, or I'm going to go skiing, or, depending on the season or whatever. I'm going to do something to release the energy,
Yeah.
right? And rebuild my own peace. Because, and I remember one of my mentors he was one of the real founders and base guys in the world of Gestalt psychology. He could sit in a room, he might make 3 sentences in a whole day, just his energy shifted and managed the room. It was magical, right? So, and he's fried, right? By the end of the day, because we're tracking every single person, every single body movement, every single sentence at any given moment, and then also going, okay, based on all this, where do we go?
This makes me go back to grace was brought up in today's circle.
More than once.
More than once.
It was really cool. Grace is such a cool word.
Yeah, and I mean, what I'm hearing right now, too, in this is, because someone said something about on and off switch. Like, there is no on and off switch with this work or with the tool. So the tool set, that it's in play as long as we are aware enough and we can have it be in play, and we can allow ourselves grace for those moments that we are tired because we were so focused for 10 hours in 2 days that, okay, if I go home right now and I slip up, or if I react first and then think about the tools, or maybe reflect about it later, that's still work. That's still progress. It's allowing myself grace in that moment to fuck up and then repair and keep trying over time. Right. And I think that's just part of where the on and off switch came into the points of, I'm in this circle, so right now I'm aware and I'm thinking about it, and it's easier because we're all here talking about it. Of course, it's okay in those moments. I mean, Eric and I talked about our real example of identifying a drama triangle, and we didn't actually come to the point of the realization until we exhaled. We had a moment of, now it's just the two of us. We can exhale on the situation and look at each other and go, oh shit, that was a whole drama triangle that we just played the whole game for the last 10 minutes. Right?
And if you had continued to exhale, your body inhales autonomically, right? Because you can only exhale so long, we can. Had you stayed in breath, right, the drama triangle potentially wouldn't have even showed up, right? Maybe. Who knows? But how cool that you acknowledged, oh my God, I'm out of breath. Exhale. And here we are, and we work through it. Mm-hmm. Right? It's so cool. The idea, I love what you were just saying of, I forget to use it, right? Whatever the it is, right? Mm-hmm. I forget to use the tools, or, no, it's this light switch thing, as opposed to, no, every single second, right? If I'm walking down the street, how do I walk efficiently? If I'm going up a hill, how does my body angle shift slightly to stay centered going up a hill or down the hill? And am I conscious or unconscious? The choicefulness is there. And one of the things I just love about athletics is almost every sport, but certainly the counterintuitive sports, are such great metaphor for this communication work and being conscious as a leader, or conscious as a family member, or conscious as a system,
as a human
participant, as a human,
I think at the human level.
It's like, okay, well, a surfboard or skis is like or a sailboat even, right? Massive size. Yeah. It's like, where is trim? Where is the balance? Do I need more sail or less sail? Where is efficiency? Mm-hmm. And even in walking, let alone, I'm leading a meeting, and instead of pretending, just do what I tell you, it's like, well, wait, what's on me to be efficient and effective, to build trim or to build efficiency? It's not just about them, and we end up finger pointing.
Well, I think that came up today about the mirror, right? And what's my role in this drama triangle, in this situation, right? And I don't know that that's come up as apparently before.
No, it's so beautiful.
And I loved it. I
Right.
really appreciated
Yeah.
it.
The real work is the mirror's 6 inches in front of my face, 6 inches in front of my nose. And it's like, keep looking. What's my part in this?
Yeah, I think it's so easy to the othering and to see. It's even this work. It's easy for me to see it in other people, right? And for me. It took time to. Emails was an easy way because it was outside of me. I was like, oh, I'm typing this email. Let me use I statements and let me see how I can form this question, right? Because I'm articulating a little bit differently, and I think it's easier for the outside experience, but the mirror having it play back of like, oh yeah, but how am I doing that for myself? And it's how this podcast started of just, there's some stuff going on here. And
I love I'm not sure I've ever said this before, but I love your analogy of email. And on a personal level, I would take it one step further. Not only how can I phrase the statement I'm making or the sentence I'm making, but for those of the audience that have been through the lab, right? One of the models we're training is Patty Wilson. For those that haven't been, this is one of the reasons to come to the labs. Do I phrase this comment from a question, from a statement, from a please share, from a, whoa, good job, hey, you guys, I need to hear from you, right? A big exclamation point. How do I phrase and position in text or email or Substack, whatever modality we're using,
whatever medium
is, oh my God, not only am I careful about the word choice, but the actual positioning from a question, a joining, please, thank you, hey, I appreciate, a tell, do this and do it by tomorrow, right? Or whatever. I mean, that's how fine-tuned this work can be in any medium, in person, on the phone.
It was just
Zoom.
It was just easier for me to see it being the way that I can structure, the way that I can spend time on this sentence and I need you versus please do this.
Yeah.
The words in front of me, the visual part of it, right? And Kristina, like you and me have talked about, or you've had the experience of like, Eric, I need help writing this email, and I'll spend an hour on an email.
Oh yeah.
And then the rabbit hole of trying to get it, quote unquote, right, to be as effective as possible, right? And anytime I'm writing an email that's more than a paragraph, I'm like, this is not an email, it's a phone call.
So take the conversation one step further. You've got members in the community that are EOS folks. Entrepreneurial operating system, unbelievably cool system. It's really well done, really executed beautifully. And it's a list of provocative requests or statements to do. However, it's the what, not the how.
Right.
And the leadership lab steps into the how, right? In other frames of reference, right? You mentioned today we were talking about, DISC or Myers-Briggs or predictive index or, right? Whatever these personality profiles are. Regardless of the profile, how do my choices with linguistics, with communication, impact and build on and support that personality profile? We could take a look at any kind of given tool set, and most articles, most books talk about what, and the lab is completely developed on how. How do I achieve? So here's my purpose, here's my vision, here are my values. How do I put them into place? The lab is all about conscious action with engagement to make those choices occur. It's fun stuff.
And I think that's the challenge. And what I want to figure out is my experience is from the outside, it's bucketed. These labs get bucketed in conscious communication. Rudy, your work gets bucketed into, well, I've done emotional intelligence is a buzzword. I've done EQ training, or right. I have experience with that, right? And I took the class, and someone specifically today that was part of the lab said that they were from after day one. I was blown away by the level of depth to the content, not overwhelmed by how much content there was. And then it was more about the level of depth.
How cool.
And how and we only went through half of it. And,
I wish I would have heard that. I feel like I missed it. Wow.
And how they started to overlap.
Yeah.
I was blown away by the level of depth of the content and how these two tools start to overlap.
Well, and EQ, right? The outcome. IQ, all about brain intelligence, cognition. EQ, emotional stability, the ability to say, oh my God, I'm hooked in drama. Now how do I get out of it and get present because I'm the leader, I'm the manager, I'm one of the team members. Right. This doesn't serve me to be here as a parent, as a partner, as a kid, as a high school. It doesn't matter what age or where. The result of this work, by choosing to be conscious, mindful, choiceful, and again, back to the how, here's this kind of brain science-based, very gestalt, very non-judgmental tool set that is literally the how to become more emotionally intelligent, more cognitively aware, more sincere, more authentic, right? If I really give a hoot about any of those things, this is the place to play. And bravo 6 degrees, because there are very few learning institutes that are teaching anything like this, let alone so articulated, right? So,
yeah. So I want to go back to a really big light bulb for me that happened just a few minutes ago in the conversation, and I was waiting until the right
real-time learning.
Yes, because so there's been so many comparisons to sports. So there's skiing and golf and sailing that have come up as far as using the tools. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I just sat here and I was like, oh my God, this conscious, unconscious, it's driving a car, right? So how many times have I personally been in a car that I'm driving and 10 minutes go by and I'm like, oh shit, how did I get from point A to point B? Like my body, my brain, my unconscious was actually doing the work of driving the vehicle while my brain was thinking about so many other things.
Or jamming out
to a song, and I am loving my life in that car, just blasting music. So I feel like a lot of people can relate to that versus maybe the sports. Well, I mean, sports can happen too, but...
No, but bravo to get us out of this. Here we are guys talking, or here I am, identified as a male and talking about sports. Boring, right?
Not boring. Cliched. I love sports. I love football,
but regardless, cliched, right? So if we go to the other extreme, oh my God, if somebody was, and this is equally cliched, and I mean no offense, but I'm going to say it just to be explicit, stitching, right?
Sure.
Sewing a patch, fixing a thing. It's like, oh, do I want a clean stitch? Do I care, right? Do I want a short, tight stitch? Do I care, right? Or cooking. Am I following the recipe or am I just following my heart, right? I mean, name any relevant activity. And I love what you just said. Here's the choice: be conscious or not.
Well, it goes to even the moments of like the high anxiety, so if I'm in a car and the road is peachy, there's not a lot of drama happening on the road, then I don't have to think about it. My unconscious is just flowing. And then the moment that someone cuts me off or something happens or something comes in my way, then all of a sudden, okay, I have to turn back on and I have to be aware of, right? So it just hit me so hard in this conversation of, oh, okay, that's an example of a place where my conscious, unconscious, it can flow.
Well, so there's the learning cycle. Socrates, Plato. I mean, that's how many centuries old this idea is. What you just named, whether I'm screaming out with a song on whatever my listening modality is, but the process of, oh, I'm unconsciously competent. I know how to drive. I know how to drive so well, and I know San Diego freeways so well, or streets so well, that I'm unconsciously competent. I know when I see a red light without even thinking, I'm going to slow down or stop, or a yellow light in California, I'm going to speed up and go, right?
Maybe not in California.
Right? Or, well, you did a good job of that a couple
Today
times today.
I did
yeah,
that
not
today.
even speeding up. I was impressed with how
I
slowly.
stayed steady.
Yeah.
Point of no return.
Yeah, at any rate, but that's another story. My point being, oh, here's the learning cycle again. Millennium old, right? This model is literally 3,000 years old of, oh, I'm unconsciously competent driving the car, and then somebody cuts me off and I become consciously incompetent, consciously aware, oh my God, I almost got hit, or this person almost hit me, wake up, in a millisecond consciously competent, and within a minute, I'm back to unconscious, go again, right? Unless I'm in road rage, right? So there's the model, but here's what I'm not. I'm not unconsciously incompetent. I do know how to be safe.
Well, I would hope so.
Until I know, right?
Yeah.
So there's the learning cycle, driving. Now, could we, I love the metaphor, again, how is conscious communication no different? I'm talking,
right,
and then all of a sudden I say something that plops. I wake up. Which element of safe space or drama triangle or Patty can I use to get back on track? Competence. Now back to, oh, I'm in flow again. We're talking. And that's the way this works. It's not a light switch. You don't stop and go driving down a freeway at 80 miles an hour. Right? You're in flow. You better move with the traffic. Don't think there's a light switch on and off.
Well, so the learning cycle. What's the actual name of that, of unconscious?
It's the learning cycle.
Socrates.
Yeah.
You said Socrates.
Socrates and Plato is somewhere between. So they were generations apart, right? But somewhere between. It's a little bit unclear, at least in my knowledge. I could be, for the audience, I could be a little bit. I could be wrong here, right?
Yeah,
sure. This is a good place for AI.
Fact check.
Who developed? Fact check. Who developed the learning cycle? But at least it goes back to whoever is the older of the two. I can never remember. And that's how old, ancient the model is, because here are these philosophers that are aware of the human psyche.
Right.
So I walk around being unconsciously incompetent, thinking I know, until somebody rattles my cage and goes, oh my God, maybe I don't know. So there's the multiple truths. Oh, I'm walking around thinking this is truth. And I'll go to my grave, I will die on this is my truth, except if I'm open enough, oh my gosh, what if something else is equally true?
Right.
And that expansion, it creates conflict enough where I may decide to bury my head and go back to what I believe that I know. Or I could step into the new truth and practice and experiment and see and build a new level of consciousness. Welcome to making I statements. Welcome to being aware of my body language, my tone, caring enough.
Right.
As a white male, as a woman, as a however I identify, any one of us identify, being conscious of, am I too short, too tall, too heavy, too thin, every one of us has labels, every one of us. So given the package I'm in, what do I do to be more effective? Conscious competence. And ultimately, I practice enough to be unconsciously incompetent. That model's 3,000 years old because it's a human model.
I don't know that I knew the history of that model.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing. Right?
And so what's happening for me, and just the way that this conversation started, the way that this podcast started, is the conscious competence, like the cycle that I just had. So to the audience,
Wow. Growth.
So right, so it's, if this is how do we paint the picture of the thing that we're talking about right now? So the bottom of that spiral is unconscious incompetence, right? And then the next level above that is conscious incompetence.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I just learned something I didn't know.
I don't know what I don't know.
I don't know what I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I just learned something that I didn't know, so I know something that I didn't know before.
Yeah.
Third level is conscious competence. So now I know.
So I'm going to practice English language, double negatives. I ain't got no, which means I do. Right.
And then the fourth level is unconscious competence. So I don't even think about, it's not required for me to, I know it. It's so deep that it's autonomic. I'm not thinking about it.
Right. And driving is a terrific example which spearheaded this whole dialogue.
I'm on autopilot.
Exactly.
I'm on autopilot, right?
Yeah.
And how many people are driving down the road, God forbid, texting, or they're putting on makeup, or they're on a cell phone, or they're, God forbid, on 3 cells or 2 cells. Mm-hmm. And, it's okay, it's rush hour, we're going slow anyway, it's fine. Or I'm going 80 and there's no traffic around me until there is, right? All those reasons, stories, excuses. It's a great example, Eric.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a great example, and that learning cycle manifests in anything. How do I mow a lawn? How do I make iced tea? And then what is good iced tea, right? It's like, oh my God, I didn't even, really? Right? Yeah. Whatever the ingredient is, right?
How do I build relationships? How do I create connection, right? And then I think that this was what came up in the conversation today in the leadership lab, is the top of that spiral, and I'm at unconscious competence, is the bottom of the next level.
Exactly.
Right? Where it actually continues. It's not I reach the
100%.
top. I don't. Mastery is understanding that I got to start over.
100% is at mastery. I still don't know what I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? So for the folks that have gone through the leadership lab once, and I'm beginning to understand how to use Cartman's drama triangle and look in a mirror, and I'm okay with looking in a mirror and not blaming myself, just going, wow, how cool it is I can look in a mirror. The next class or process is, well, how do I use my breathing to support my confidence? How do I use my breathing to support abundance? How do I use my intention? Right? There's all these other levels of energy, which is where we started in our whole podcast. Mm-hmm. How do I use my energy and awareness to take my skill set to the next level and step into what I don't know? Right. Here's a flip for everybody listening. Right. My teacher, after 30 years in practicing yoga at a pretty high level, my teacher decides, let me show you a little trick. And we went outside and melted clouds.
Melted clouds?
Melted clouds.
What is melted clouds?
You'll have to come to the next leadership lab to learn. Okay.
I don't know what that means.
I love that so much.
Right? And at any given moment, any given time,
you said
actually
30 years into your
30 years into
relationship.
My practice. Yeah, actually it was about 25 years. He says, I think you're ready for this. And here's the funny part, is now a year in, 6 months in, I can teach somebody to melt a cloud.
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah. Well, literally, here's a cloud. if I
No,
look at
don't
it,
give it away.
if I
I know
well,
You gotta come to the lab.
at this point, I'm like, yeah, keep it a secret. Keep it there.
I'm just saying,
It is.
I'm
you gotta come to the lab.
I'm very
you
intrigued.
wanna, right? Actually, anybody listening, right? If they want to come and melt a cloud, learn to melt a cloud, we'll give you a 5% discount. Right?
Ask for the Melt a Cloud
Yeah,
discount.
ask for the melted cloud discount, and you're in.
That's perfect.
Right? How cool is that? And it'll come out of mixed zero paycheck on that. But yeah, at any rate, it's too funny. But literally, right? Literally, this is true.
Yeah.
Right? Of how is there magic in our world, right?
Yeah, it's all magic and none of it's magic. I wrote this in a recent brain dump prior to this lab. I saw a comment on it, but when there was a moment when we met. For me, I was like, I'm watching a magician, and most magicians don't want to share the secret unless you're serious, and then maybe I'll take you under my wing kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I really appreciated about you and your approach to this work and being open to sharing and spreading this work, which this being conscious communication, is how all of it's magic and there's no trick to it, right?
Wow. Can I quote that?
Yeah.
Can you send that to me in writing?
All of
God,
it,
what
all
a
of it-
gift.
all of it's magic.
What a gift.
And here's how, right?
And
here's
it's authentic.
I care so much about this, and that's how I felt.
Wow.
This is so there's so much care to, right? We've talked about the shadow side of this work, and I know there is, and thankfully I haven't seen anyone that have come through the leadership lab to see it that way, right?
Yeah.
And I think we're very conscious of it.
Well, the shadow, in many respects, God, I'm just touched by what you just shared. Thank you.
Yeah.
In many respects, my background, which we don't need to air, but the catalyst for me, in many respects, has been because of how much shadow there is, how many mistakes I've made as a human being, as a white male. What can I do differently to be a better human being? What can I do differently? Not to make amends. How do I be a better human being? And what action steps? And my brain is big enough and my intention is sincere enough, I'd like to think, that I am ravenous. I will do anything that's legal and won't hurt someone to improve.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we bring to our clients as well is, get out of my way, because we are, one of the words in one of our values is we are relentless in our pursuit of what's next.
Well, I think
within legal bounds.
Well, I think it's so important that in these labs and in your work as a facilitator is that we name, add value, do no harm.
Yeah.
I think that, to me, that phrase is so important for the level that we're playing at.
Yeah.
Because there is a dark side, there is a shadow, and I appreciate you sharing that. That's actually the motivation.
Yeah.
Your own experience of that dark side.
And I, in full candor, it's certainly a quote I say a lot, and I feel I'm a bit embarrassed to say I can't actually remember who shared it with me. It's not my phrase. It's a repeated phrase from one of my teachers, and I can't remember who. I think it was my teacher, but it might have been one of my colleagues, but I just remember
it hit.
The hit
of,
and it's very Gestalt, very yogic, very kind of probably with unintentionally, I will do harm. However, my intention is do no harm. Add value, do no harm.
Yeah.
It's a potent tool, and if it does harm, then speak up. So if we go back full circle to your point of, hey, wait, you guys, today one of the actions that was so profound and it shifted the group, the learning of us all, including myself, was, hey, wait, are we on track? Have we actually created a wow experience, which is one of the 6 degrees values? Because if we didn't create a wow experience, in fact, if you're unwowed, if you're confused, if you're frustrated or more, let's check and let's hear about it. And okay, if the precept is add value, do no harm, you're not going to challenge my ego. I'm all in. It's like, hey, and even more, if I was the one that sucked out the wow factor, hey everybody, it wasn't me, by the way. But that's the good news, right?
Rudy did what we brought him to do.
Right? Yeah. It was so funny. And at the same time, as much as I know, immediately where I read is, oh God, what did I do wrong?
Well, so it's funny and interesting and I don't want to cut you off. So
well,
keep
yeah.
going, keep
So
going.
let me just one more sentence. So with all of that playfulness that hopefully came across as playfulness, I'm all in with, dude. Of course. Here's let's celebrate. You named a value. You named a result. You named a guest experience, a member experience of your company and your community. Of we want to create a wow experience, and I need to check in. Is this chaos or is this wow?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And even though I made in my frailty, made up my own story of, oh wow, I really have pushed this too far, and right. Totally in me to make. I have no data.
Yeah.
Right?
And I just really appreciate that. I think this is maybe not the first time, but a very apparent time that one of our values was truly used as an example. We've definitely alluded to, hey, these are in place. This is happening, right? We talk about our values during our growth groups, and they're visible for our events. This was one of the first times where we actually got to, hey, let's incorporate this right now into the experience.
100%.
Let's talk about the wow experience. And I freaking loved that so much, because now I got to feel from a member's perspective and from a group's perspective and from the event using the tool. Right?
100%.
We're for the most part, Eric, it's you and I, because we currently don't have a large team.
The tool being values?
Yeah, our values.
But even more so, a specific value. So what I love so let's back up just a second, ratchet back just a second.
Yep.
So first, oh my God, we've named something out of a specific value or within the value's specificity. Ratchet back, let's check. And even though somebody might be threatened by that, the opportunity was, I'm all in. We are all in. Let's go. Let's check. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. Because even if it's me, what I'm going to get is feedback to perform at a higher level. Add value, do no harm.
Mm-hmm. Well,
here's this.
Reinforce another value. We level up every single day, right? So here's how this value ties to this other value that I'm sitting with.
100%. And then as a coach around how to use values, so many companies now have values in place, or purpose or mission. However, the great majority of companies don't know how to use them in decision making. And Kristina, what you just named is so profound. Is we move from using values as a noun, our values, to no, how did we live or use this value in real time as a verb? We created a wow experience, or we leveled up, right? And all of a sudden the value becomes a verb and an actualization. Now it's a tool, and we shifted the entire clinic, the entire lab, in the last 3 hours by naming a real value in real time as a verb, and took performance further and celebrated the company and the values. Wow.
Well, so I'm sitting with two things, and I'll try and keep one of them separate for right now. Part of the way that we were doing the fishbowl and being so one to step in the fishbowl. Kristina, you were coming back like, I don't know what I missed, and let's jump in. Mm-hmm. Right. So I appreciate you just kind of trusting that. I'm like, I have something,
Yeah.
And I think just being able to work through, again, my own, what was happening for me, the space and the coaching that would actually happen. I didn't come in of like, oh, I have this value that I'm like, it wasn't on my mind. It literally, there was a question that got asked. So I shared something around where I was at, what I was sitting with, around the experience, around it being chaotic. And is this, I don't know.
But you ask it, you framed your question from the value. Was this, in fact, a wow experience?
But not until we took a break, and then Kristina came back and from a coaching standpoint asked a question that made me go, oh, this is actually the truth. It was something around truth, and it was something around this experience. I don't know if I'm curious if this is a wow experience.
You're welcome.
Conscious competence.
Yeah.
My personal experience is this is a really good conversation, and it's rich. So it might be one long show edited. It might be parts. It might be session 1, session 2, part 1, part B, A, B, whatever. However you guys market it. But if you're doing this, fucking do it to sell memberships.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
On a personal level, I would love 1 million hits on this. So how do we get 1 million hits? It's such a cool idea we're doing. And I think this is what made podcasts so organic and so ironic. Here we are in a podcast world of unique radio stations when radio is dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this irony. And anyway, I'll stop there.
I just want to get better every time. So to me, there's a place of this. So yes, to how do we make this 1 million listeners? From what we've done so far, I don't actually care. I get so much out of being in this room and having this experience. If it turns into that, amazing, right? And part of that's probably mindset and probably related to similar mindset of like, well, if the sales come, that would be nice too, right?
Well, here's the flip.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I love that, and I'm with you, and we could sit and have this dialogue. But if we're actually going to record it, I want to get shit done. Because I don't want to spend 5 hours if we could spend 1, because I have other shit to do, right? And unless you're going to pay me, right? And I'm not this. Right? I'm not talking about you personally. I'm saying unless you host are going to pay me, then and even the pay is not worth the residuals, because the residuals are exponentially better than the pay, right? Is make this value.
Well, I would actually argue the opposite of that, because
Same.
our hosts are as a host, our members are our guests, and the value we're creating is giving them a platform to talk about themselves.
Okay, and if only one person listens, what value is it?
Well, is that a wow experience?
Is that a wow experience? And are we next level? Have we taken it to the next level? So I'm not challenging anything you're saying. We're actually violently agreeing.
Yes.
We're all saying the same. I don't know that we're saying the same thing, but we're actually in agreement. So we change one life at a time. Great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Huge. We've had an impactful life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm curious, starting with energy and maybe going back to energy. Now, where is it sitting in each of us?
Not in my legs.
So where is it?
Chest.
Chest. Where in your chest?
Upper, below my throat. Right below.
And what does it feel like?
What does it feel like? It feels like I need to let go. Is what it.
So tight?
It feels like I'm holding on to something. It feels tight. It feels.
So above your rib cage, above your heart?
Yeah, below my throat.
But below your throat.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so that. Okay, Interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks. For me, I know that I open talking about gut and solar plexus, kind of. Where I am is slightly higher, not as high as Eric just named, but I would call it heart center. I feel more in balance, still grounded, but actually stronger. So whatever strong means, I can actually feel my feet and my legs at the same time I feel my chest, my heart center, not my chest, my heart center. So from the top of the rib cage to the pecs, heart, but not high in my throat. It's not even close to my throat. It's really kind of a palm of heart. And my legs feel grounded even though I'm sitting cross-legged. I feel a sense of calm that I don't know that I felt. I felt solid at the start, but now I have a calmness, a solemnity.
I definitely feel calm. I feel floating a little bit.
Nice. Okay.
And it might be the wine. the wine without the food.
The wine helped.
Interesting. I'm not touching that one. I'm also, and out of that heart center, I'm feeling a sense mentally of appreciation for the space. I love this idea of the podcast. I love that we went through some conflict about, hey, wait, this feels different. Are we speaking to an audience? Are we just having a conversation? To me, the power, the beauty of this is, Kristina, you've set the stage for, as if we are on stage, here's an intimate conversation with the three of us, and it just so happens that there's a whole audience of 6 Degree members and maybe the general public that might have the opportunity to hear us. I hope they do. And it's this both and that feels intimate, and even though open, it's safe. It's pretty cool. And we've kind of expanded, almost like breathing, expanded out and come back in, and really present. Have no idea how much time we've taken. So
Right.
That's pretty cool. That's fun.
The time in here, I feel like, goes faster than I've ever experienced because of how present I can be. It's interesting. When I asked the question, my energy felt a certain way, and then it actually kept moving as I listened to each of you. So that was an experience. Where I started felt very much not in my legs, but in, I guess, torso and even arms. It felt like caramel. And then as Eric spoke...
Say caramel?
Yeah, because I just went back to... So Rudy, you asked, how does it actually feel? How is it feeling in your body? And my mind immediately went like, ooh, this feels like caramel. It feels like it's moving slowly and kind of...
Apart.
Like soft caramel.
Soft caramel.
Nice.
It's dripping. And
Maple syrup.
Molasses.
Molasses.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's how it
I love
felt
it.
until Eric started describing where it was for him, and I started meaning making, and I immediately felt a stiffness come up my spine and to the back of my skull, because the way that I heard what you said, Eric, made me think that, oh my goodness, like here we are after this long conversation and there's still tension. I read what you said as tension just from where you placed it in your body, maybe because that's where I started in my body. And then I was able to breathe a little bit more when Rudy started talking and describing where it was sitting. So it honestly, even in the last couple of minutes of sitting here, I was noticing the shift in where it was moving in my body and how I was reacting to the experience of this podcast. Was this a wow experience of a podcast, right? That's I mean, to keep it
So there's values in action, right?
Yeah.
And to the listening audience, some of this might, for some folks, might sound like a bunch of woo-woo. What the heck are we talking about, right? Of this energy and flow and molasses and solar plexus and heart and yada, yada, yada. To me, what's really powerful with what you just shared, nice hosting, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
And publicing what your experience is. to me, as a leadership coach, as a professional fixer, what is powerful in a very pragmatic way about the way we're talking is the more I can get a client or a member, team member, partner to be aware of where is their flow and where is their constriction, where is their tightness, that body part intelligence sends a signal of, oh my God, if I pay attention to this, there begin to be signals like street signs or stop signs
Sure.
or whatever that say, dude, pay attention here, or dudette, pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Because something, it just went from flow and molasses and slow and soothing to, oh my God, I'm restricted. And what caused that? Now what do I do to get out of it?
Well, I think the other, as Kristina, as we were describing that, is it's the same type of conversation we've had about wine. It's the same type of conversation we've had about communication, right? It's being able to articulate a level of awareness as a skill set. And I feel like between the three of us, I've heard both of you be way more eloquent, not to judge or compare or anything. I'm just reflecting on myself. So here's the mirror in front of me of like, oh yeah. And even when we do the wine, when we talk about wine, you smell things, taste things, feel things, and are able to articulate it way different than I am. So I appreciate the level of awareness.
Well, and as we go around in this appreciation circle, he says with a smile, to me, here's what the appreciation that you just shared brings us. The more conscious I can be, the more I can go, oh, this is a signal to say, keep going, keep doing more, or pay attention. What do I need to do different? What can I do to get the my body from tingling out to being centered, right? How do I get more conscious? How do I get more specific? How do I be more eloquent? Which doesn't mean profuse. It means hitting the bullseye, right? How do I start saying what I mean? And performance skyrockets, which, yay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Thank you
It's
so
really
much.
cool. Yeah, no, thank you. And thank you. I mean, man, we could talk for hours and we have done that. And so hopefully the next time that you're in town, we can do this again and schedule another episode because
I'd love to be
this
back.
was,
Yeah,
I
thank you.
feel like this is honestly a powerful conversation that really gives the insight to Eric and I's brains and how we work with you and how we can continue bringing conscious communication to others and just an insight to how we're working 6 degrees. So I thank you so much, Rudy, for everything.
Well, even from the series conversation, I think this could be a series in itself of...
Well, yes to everything both of you just said. And my closing comment, I think, based on this would be, I don't know that I've ever met two owners more sincere in bringing value to their members and to their market. And so let's play. And to everybody out there that's in the community that's listening to you, come on, right? Let's play. Step up. If what we've talked about makes sense, celebrate it. If it doesn't make sense, reach out and ask questions. And how do we start doing labs that are open to dialogue and open to experiment and open to just pragmatic? How do I make the world a better place? How do I make my company a more effective company? How do I build a team? How do I be a better human being? All those pieces. Thank you, and I hope I get invited back.
Of course.
Yeah, I look forward to being invited back. How's that?
Thank you.
I know I will be.
It's the most important question of any restaurant. Would you
What
come?
a-
Would
what
you
a
come?
concept.
Would you come back? Would you come back?
Right.
Would we have you back?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Same
Amazing.
thing.
Awesome.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you, Rudy.
Thank you.
Thank you,
This was
guys.
amazing.
What-
And I can't wait for more. It's going to be so fun to continue this journey.
Love all, exclude none, add value,
Do no harm. I love it. Amazing.
We appreciate you.
All right, now let's recap part 2 with Rudy. Dive in a little bit deeper.
More wine.
And all of the things that went down for
And Eric's journey of finding himself.
Yeah.
And being uncomfortable and squirming and trying to be real about it.
Yeah, that was, and I know we talked about it a little bit on the episode itself of that showing up another time before when we've recorded, but this one was certainly, it was felt a lot more. I could feel it.
Yeah, we've talked since then. I still actually don't know what was going on. I mean, hearing the episode back, I felt both sides of, I feel like whatever was happening, I was making it a bigger deal than it actually was, and I still heard what I heard. The feeling was still there.
Mm-hmm. Well, how interesting to have something like that be recorded and be able to dissect it. It's almost as if my therapy session was recorded. Ooh, it's kind of like couples therapy, right? If I was one of those couples and now I have to watch, or I get to watch this TV show of how I'm showing up in that room. What a different perspective.
The show
Couples therapy. The show Couples Therapy, which there's a new season. Yeah, I'm super excited. We got to watch that.
Okay.
But it's kind of like that, right? There's an extra perspective because now you're listening back to it.
Yeah, and that was part of the motivation for this, to use this medium, use a podcast, is to be able to play it back and for the two of us to learn and hear ourselves talk. And yeah, this one hit different for sure. We had some wine involved, and alcohol influences things, and I don't think that has anything to do with what I was processing, what I was working through. Again, I still haven't figured out like what the root was. Still working through that part of it.
Yeah. Well, I know for sure it was not the wine, because we have wine with Rudy, I think, every time we sit down with Rudy. Yeah. That's just part of the relationship with Rudy. He knows a lot about wine. So if any of you are lucky enough to share a glass with Rudy, he's great. I've learned a ton about wine with him, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It's always fun with Rudy. I mean, he's so smart and so generous, and I feel like every time that we're with him, it's a great time. And this was no different, even though there was resistance in me, and yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting just right now thinking about, there have certainly been moments where I have felt uncomfortable with Rudy. And I guess when we've gone out to restaurants, there's been multiple times where he might call something out with maybe the server or the bartender or the restaurant itself. He'll name something and to the person and kind of push a little bit. And so now, and has that ever made you uncomfortable? And when he's done that, when we've been out to eat with him?
Yeah. Or I notice it, and so part of it for me is always interesting because Rudy's human, and I very much believe that he's very conscious of the choices.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not always the most effective choice, but I'm paying attention in a different way to watch. It's like, oh, okay, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
With this person in this moment, like, why is that what you're doing?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, and I'm saying that it has made me uncomfortable, and I'm not saying that was a negative thing or any kind of dig at Rudy. It's more noticing in myself, why am I uncomfortable in this situation?
Yeah.
Coming from hospitality and being on the other side of it, there's certainly some internal things that I'm working through. And
sure, and yeah, I guess to make it not like it's not like he's being rude to a server. Or
it's coaching is what's happening.
Yeah, like there was one time specifically we had a server, and it was, I forget exactly, but it was more about just asking specific questions. He was interviewing them. He was interviewing the server.
Yeah.
to see if they, and I think the server made a remark around like, yeah, I've been doing this for 15 years. And Rudy, I think the specific instance of time was like, oh yeah, you have? Okay, let's see. Right?
Yeah.
And he just kind of not grilled, but dug a little bit deeper and asked some very poignant questions to kind of test the person a little bit.
Yeah.
In a way, for someone like the two of us who's been in hospitality, it's like, I don't know if that was me, and maybe that's what it is. If I put myself in that situation, like how would I react?
Yeah.
To this stranger?
Right. I didn't sign up for coaching in this moment. I might not even really give a shit about this job that much, right? And he has so much experience, obviously, with hospitality, like that's restaurants, and so for him, that's the kind of coaching that he's doing constantly with his clients. And
it's everything's an interview, right? We talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
And what I appreciate about him is he will be direct in a way that is very kind. Right?
Yes.
Kind, not nice.
Yes.
And there's a big difference between kind, not nice. And yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to know everything that we know, right? And even with in this episode, to know everything that we know and to play it back and go, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. All right, Eric, what happened here, and here? And
yeah,
to not be able to still be kind of searching right now is strange. It's a strange. There's some more digging that I need to do with it.
Well, I think it just goes to show. So we've had people come to our leadership labs, and from my experience, the story I'm making up is they feel like, oh, I got it. I got the tools. I did the thing, and that's all I need. When you have known and have been using these tools for so many years and still fucking up. And I'm way behind.
Well, it's not fucking up.
Not fucking up, but I mean,
right,
like,
it's not right or wrong, and it's not fucking up. There's 100%, right? There's a level of mastery, right? And it's not the day that I say I'm an expert at something is the day that I would tell everyone to stop listening to me. If someone tells me like I am the expert and I know everything, right? Be careful, right? And so there's just this ongoing, continual learning with this tool set, with conscious communication,
right?
That it doesn't matter. There's just levels.
Well,
right? And this was a window into a deeper level for me of processing some stuff that I'm aware of, awake on, and interesting.
Yeah, and I've said this multiple times lately. Communication is a muscle. It needs to be worked. It needs to be practiced. It doesn't just all of a sudden, like you said, there's levels to it. Mm-hmm. And I don't just go to the gym 3 times a year and I'm good, right? So I don't just go to a leadership lab 3 times a year and I'm good. So how do I practice ongoing? How do I continue to, as long as I want to be aware?
Right. Well, so that's interesting because I was listening to something recently about, so because of social media, because of technology and the way that we communicate, to the muscle point, is parts of our brain are actually deteriorating. There's atrophy, whatever that word is.
Yeah.
Whatever the word is around, if I don't use the muscle, I lose the muscle. And so there's parts of the brain that are tied to making connection, forming connection, that we're actually, as humans, as society, we're losing because of the way that the device, that a phone, that social media is impacting the way. So to your point, less people are practicing how to start a conversation, how to fall in love, how to go on a date, and right, like those are just and just even the water cooler talk at work kind of thing is disappearing with remote work. And so there's just this perfect storm happening of where do I practice how to communicate?
Right. I mean, even with AI now too, this came up on the Simon Sinek podcast that you sent me. And he talks about that, and it's, if I just go to AI to solve my problem of this is the issue between my spouse and I, for example, and I just go regurgitate whatever AI said, now I'm losing the skill to be able to do that myself. Yeah,
well, part of his point with that was AI can give me the words, right, in the script, but if I just read the script, how am I actually connecting? How am I meaning right? It doesn't teach me how to actually connect with someone and feel empathy and remorse, right? Here's the checklist for the airplane. It doesn't mean you know how to fly the airplane.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I can hit all the buttons, but put me up in like once we hit go, right? And so yeah, AI as a tool, it can be helpful, and there are skills that are slipping away. And so much of this conversation with Rudy is the tool, like, was not the tools, but our tools are a way, the how of connecting, right? And working through it, right? In my situation, I think this episode was a really good reminder of the human side and how important it is to connect, the skill set of connecting. Yeah, really, really interesting to hear back.
We just talked so much about the why behind certain things.
Yeah, where did you want to go deeper on any of them?
Well, I'm curious because we've started with a check-in and we end with a reinforcement. And even Rudy was like, ooh, is this too woo? Part of what I shared in the episode is being able to be really present in that room, in that space, in a podcast room, versus when we're at events and I'm in host mode and I'm in a conversation and I'm also tracking, does the food need replenished, right? All the things that come up for me if we're in that a larger environment with more people. So when we talk about a check-in and tracking energy, I think as a leader, being able to know where energy is sitting in my body, is it positive? Is it like that's, to me, that's, I guess that's not woo.
Well, so I think I would back up, and I know we talked about this a little bit in the episode. So the purpose of a check-in is how do I get grounded and how do I be here and be now? So it's not necessarily related to energy, it's being present, right? And if I'm present, I might be able to track energy. That might be a part of it.
Right.
But it's being centered, being more in line with my breath, not worrying about past, not worrying about future. How do I, as a check-in, it's like, what can I do to be present right here, right now? You specifically wanted to talk about energy and where's my energy right now. And if I remember right, my energy was like full, like going, like I wasn't actually grounded. It was like falling out of my feet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how it felt.
That's how it started for you.
And look where we went.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that I actually effectively figured out how to ground myself for that conversation. Right. So
right.
That's just what I would color in around. So check-in to start any stretch that we have at 6 degrees, any meeting that you and I have as a team. One of the most effective ways that we've learned, this is from Rudy, this is part of his program, is a check-in to start and to get everyone's voice in the room, right? And then a reinforcement, so that the check-in opens the meeting, opens the conversation, again, gets us all present, and then a reinforcement, so we just spent a bunch of time together. What stood out? How are we kind of opening and closing the time? Because so many meetings can be really ineffective, unproductive. They go on forever. It's like, no, we're going to start to be here intentionally, and we're going to end it with a period. And it's helpful to hear what stood out and what's the takeaway, what's the action step. That's the reinforcement part, right? So that process of structuring a meeting that's part of Rudy's work. There's things like that I think, in this conversation are helpful that we allude to, but tying it, crediting Rudy for it is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. As you were talking, you and I are really, really good at we do a feedback loop, which is somewhat like a reinforcement after the events that we host. And maybe even part of it for me to be more grounded and to be more present, what's lacking is the check-in, because that's not how we start events, which is interesting. I mean, we set things up and we're setting up the space. And
so in a restaurant, it's a pre-shift, right?
Yep.
It's okay. Everything is where it's supposed to be. We have everything set up. And what's the pre-shift? What's the check-in with the team to make sure that we are all set up? We're aligned. We're on the same page. We're ready to go, right? It would be the pep talk meeting before a sporting event, right? If we're talking about athletics,
yeah,
right? There's taking a moment to be here, be now, and get ready to go do what we're going to do. So yeah, that would be helpful for sure.
Yeah, it seems like maybe that's something that I need. I don't know about like you, and I guess how does it show up for you? In the episode, we did talk about your comfortability in certain environments, and you mentioned being in a larger environment with more people is more comfortable than sometimes you mentioned this felt like a vacuum. And so do you also struggle at all with being present when we have a larger event?
Yeah, I mean, anytime we're hosting, there's this caretaking, there's this, I'm tracking certain things, and it's harder for me to, unless I'm tell myself and remind myself, like, oh no, I'm talking to Kristina right now.
Yeah.
I need to just be talking to Kristina and not thinking about the next thing that I'm going to say, but actually listening and being curious and asking questions with the person I'm talking to. There's an art to that, right? So if, as a host, it's just a different layer where I'm seeing you and I'm seeing what's happening. If you and me are talking, I'm seeing what's happening behind, and to the best of my ability, trying not to turn my head and move my head, but just paying attention to what's in my line of eyesight if I'm talking to someone. So 100%, I try to catch myself shifting focus, because it's not losing focus, I'm actually shifting it. Or something will grab my focus, almost like if a plate crash.
Yep.
Right? Like if something's off, right? In terms of like, something on the table or half eaten, we need a refill on some of the food or whatever the thing is. Like that's just, I think it's more of like a hosting mentality. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I just, from my perspective, when I see you in some of our larger event environments, I admire how present you at least seem with the people that you're talking to.
Sure, I try.
Yeah.
I try really is hard, and sometimes I'm better at it than others, and sometimes it depends on the event. I think there's a balance to that. I think we've had the conversation with people where it's, how are you just on? Right? Is it hard to just be on all the time? And I think there's, to a certain degree, it's like, well, no, this is just how I am. Right?
Yeah. And I certainly think that people who listen to this are going to see, or not see, they're going to hear a side to us that is way more intimate than what they see.
Well, yeah, 100%.
So
that's part of the reason for doing this, right?
100%. And to your point of like, are we on or off? It's not that we're on or off in the public situations that we might have met some of the people who are listening that have only seen us maybe at an event or whatever it might be, right? They haven't seen us, just the two of us, or after a glass of wine, or whatever the situation is. But that doesn't mean that we're off or on in any of those other situations. I think we are naturally adapting to any environment that we are in. We're still being ourselves. My biggest struggles are in these moments of vulnerability, like this past weekend. That's when I feel like I'm off, when I can't physically do something. And that's when I break down. I feel the most vulnerable. I'm not saying that the tears that you saw weren't out of pain, because they certainly were. And there were certainly amplified tears of, I felt so helpless. I felt so insanely vulnerable. And it's in those specific moments, for me personally, when I need help from someone else, I am the most upset. That's when I feel like I am off. I cannot be on. I cannot take care of myself.
Well, yeah, I mean, that goes back to our value around well-being, right? So for you specifically, it's being able to take care of your own well-being.
Yeah.
Is what I'm hearing for you. If you're not able to take care of your own well-being, everything's off.
Oh, yeah. It's such a ginormous trigger for me.
So it's not even, it's actually a step before well-being. It's self-reliance or the ability to take care of oneself related to well-being.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. So over the weekend, I was equally frustrated with you and also not because there were really big parts of me that were like, why aren't you stepping in and doing more? And then there were parts of me that was like, I literally do not want a single person to touch me or help me in any single way. Like, I was internally battling that so hard. And it was interesting because my mom was here. So she is my mom, and she's going to do every single thing in her power to help me. And she's going to worry, and she's going to do everything for me. And yeah, it was this weekend, it was not only painful physically, I was emotionally, honestly drained. It was difficult. I have such a hard time when I am physically unable to do things. When someone else has to provide for me. It's funny because you are the person who cooks, right? I
do so many things for you.
You do, and I appreciate the hell out of that.
But I don't have to. But also, if I'm not here, like, you won't do it. So you have to.
Well, okay.
I'm leaving this weekend, and like you're not. What are you gonna eat?
Popcorn.
Popcorn? That's not dinner.
But that's the truth. Is before you and I met, what did I eat? I ate fucking pizza rolls, and granted, I know that was in my 20s, and it's different now, but no, I don't, because I do the bare minimum, I guess, for myself. I guess is what I'm. Yeah, I do the bare minimum for myself.
Same.
Oh, it's the first time I've said that out loud, I think.
That's interesting. Why do you do the bare minimum for yourself, Kristina? Because it's the same thing with me and the whole waking up and
ooh,
accountability. Ooh.
This isn't where I thought this conversation was going to go.
Where did you think it was going to go?
I don't know, but not us doing the bare minimums for ourselves.
When is the time that you've cared about yourself the most, or you feel like you've put yourself first the most, or you whatever? When was the time that you really took care of yourself? Or not the time, but a time.
I mean, I guess what comes to mind for me was when I was seeing a personal trainer. I feel like that was the most I was aware of taking care of myself. Was I the skinniest and most proud of my body at that time? Like, no, because I've definitely been in other situations when I was younger that I liked more. But I wouldn't say that I was taking care of myself in those moments. I think that was just...
When have you been kindest to yourself? When would you say you've been most kind?
Kindest to myself. I don't know.
We talk about kind and nice a lot, and there's a mirror to it.
Well, don't whisper that where we can't hear it. There's a mirror.
There's a mirror. What's the kindest thing you've done for yourself? I'm asking myself the same question.
I feel like...
It's actually a really interesting question.
Yeah, it is an interesting question. I feel like some of the kindest things that I've been able to do for myself is any of the moments where I can let go of caring about what other people think. So to me, it's, and this is going to sound really probably fucking dumb. And the reason why I thought of this is because I can see a portrait of Taylor Swift right now. But it's me going like, you know what? I actually don't give a fuck if I like Taylor Swift and people know about it versus like...
So many people like Taylor Swift.
Well, no, I know, but okay.
so many people be
no.
No, you should like her. She's
no,
amazing.
but it's
awesome.
Okay. So I haven't been on the train for so long. So there's like this like Swiftie thing, and there's this fandom.
You're late to the game.
But I don't even want to say that because like I was on board for 1989. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm just saying there's little moments like that where I'm...
This is the kindest thing you've done for yourself is let yourself be a Taylor Swift.
No, I'm using that as an example. Oh God. This sounds...
This part needs to go on the podcast. With the picture of us is Halloween
No.
2 years ago.
Oh my God. No, I just...
That's the kindest. It's so nice of you. You let yourself love this fucking woman that so like millions of people.
Yeah, but for some reason you still don't like her,
I
and
don't
it
like her.
pisses me off so much.
Prove me wrong. I could be wrong.
Could be wrong. You are wrong. God, it doesn't matter. I guess, okay, what I was trying to say about that is more along the lines
Caring about what people think.
of not caring about what people think in certain moments. And that was one of the moments, right? For me, it was like, I know you were gone. I watched the Eras tour on TV, and I was texting Brandy the whole time, and I was like crying and drinking wine and just singing along and just
There's no but.
loving.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it was amazing. And so it's moments of accepting, yeah, okay, I love the thing that everybody loves, and like it's all good. We're good. Just stop trying to go against the grain so much, which is how I've lived my life since the beginning.
Would you describe yourself as a zigger or a zagger? I feel like
Ooh,
probably more of a zagger.
yeah, I like to.
When everyone zigs, you zag.
Yeah, I'm going the opposite.
That's why we're the same.
Well, I know. That's why you and I clicked.
Mm-hmm.
Hence me being like, don't get me a diamond for my ring. And then you got me a rock that still looked like a diamond. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I still have that.
What? No, you don't.
No.
I returned it. What are you talking about? You don't have that ring. But I guess I have been someone who's trying to go against, as a female, I hate pink. You know what I'm saying? I'm always against the
No,
thing.
I like pink.
Well, no,
I like
as I've gotten older,
Let's go.
as I've gotten older, I don't actually care that much about. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I'm letting go of
You like what
trying
you
to
like.
hold on to being so different so hard. And it's a relief to be like, I don't care if I like the thing. I like the thing.
Do you know what the next level of that is?
Oof, what?
When you're ready, you'll find out. I still struggle with all of it, so who am I to say?
Yeah, when was the last time you were kind to yourself?
I went for a run today. That was nice.
Mm-hmm.
That was nice of me.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time it's not. It's actually really hard.
Yeah.
When was the last time? And I was like, what's the kindest I've been to myself? This is where my head is going. And I think it's just so much of it is not worrying about what's going to happen, what has happened, and is just being present. And those are few and far between. I beat myself up a lot.
I know.
It's hard. And that's so the answer to the next level is like the ego part. It's like, it's not real.
Yeah.
None of it's real.
Right.
No one actually, you actually don't, there is no Kristina that likes something for people to not like her.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
We make it real by what we focus on.
Yeah, I guess one of the craziest things that I've ever heard is I am thousands of different versions of myself because every person who I interact with has their own version of who I am to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking crazy to me.
Right.
Because to me, I only know me.
But which you do you know?
Don't do that. What do you mean? I know.
Which you is you? Do you know the 5-year-old you? Do you know the 8-year-old you? Which you are you in tune with right now? Are you in tune with 30? How old are you? 31?
Ooh, 33.
33.
Wait,
30,
how old am I?
33.
33.
I'm 36. Are you in?
Wait, am I 33?
Which you?
I'm
yeah.
turning 34, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which you of you are you the most in tune with?
Okay, no,
Right.
that's valid. That's super valid. I don't think I am in tune with my 33-year-old self. I think I'd be closer to like a. Well, I don't think I'm that far off from the age I am right now. I honestly feel like
It's not about the age. So most of
I
us,
understand it's not about the age.
Most of us get caught in like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay, I get that. I get what you're saying.
Mm.
And
Do you? And then there is no you.
stop.
And then there actually isn't.
Ugh. You're going to derail this whole topic.
What's the kindest I've ever been to myself? That's the question. I asked it to you and I was like, oh shit. Maybe a version of that question is, when have I felt the most free?
Ooh, I like that because, I mean, that's where my mind went. That's what I described to you was, I was like, oh, I felt really free in that moment. I just liked the thing that I liked and I didn't give a shit.
I feel like you've had that with just your style lately. Your clothes. That's been freeing.
Well, yeah. I mean, shout out Suna. Like, I think that I've definitely been stuck for a long time and I just haven't wanted to invest in anything new that was more fitting to who I am. And I needed another perspective and she helped me find that. And now I'm like, oh, this is how I want to feel comfortable. And this is who I am. It's felt great.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I felt it.
Oh, that's fine. It's fine. I'll cut it out.
Cut it out.
Yeah.
What is it?
We're recording right now.
Oh, cool.
Put her there, bud.